coffee.
Hey bro, thanks man.
You look like you need it.
Wow, last night was a long night.
It was a long night.
It was a long night, but fun. Yeah, fun man.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, have you decided whether you prefer the BMW Z4 or the Toyota Supra?
Having driven both cars, I still find there are a lot of similarities between the two cars. I remember when we got into both cars, we still felt that, wow, this Supra still looks quite BMW-ish on the inside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we know it's on the same platform. They had some similarities in terms of the driving dynamics. There were some differences.
Yep.
I would say almost just as powerful based on the settings that we had last night.
Right.
But yeah, still a very tough decision, man.
They both have their own things to make you feel special in their own way, right?
Yeah.
So, what's it gonna take to decide for once and for all?
I don't know, man. I mean, if you were to ask me, another drive would be perfect lah.
Okay. Well, I read your mind and I'm ahead of you. I managed to get another Toyota Supra today.
Serious?
Yeah. So, yesterday was red, today is grey. Before we have to turn these cars back, let's take another spin, shall we?
Let's go, bro.
Alright,
man.
Alright, here we go. So, we're in the Toyota Supra again. Oh, listen to that. It handles nicely, it doesn't feel too heavy, it doesn't feel overpowered, which is I think the main thing here. It has lots of power on demand. You can accelerate if you want, like right now, but it never really feels like it's going to get away from you. It never feels squirrely, or if you have to brake hard, you don't have to fight the steering, and it just feels very easy to drive day to day. The ride is just on the right side of being comfortable yet firm enough to render a sporty drive. Maybe the only gripe is the exhaust could be a touch louder to bring a bit more emotion, to be a bit more evocative. I guess you'd have to be driving a little bit faster to get that sound out of the car, but on the whole, I think we're okay.
So here we are with the BMW Z4 M40i. It has the company's famous 3-litre 6-cylinder engine pushing 355 bhp and 500 Newton meters of torque. Now that's nuts. Considering that this is such a compact roadster, there's a lot of power. Just punch the throttle like that, and you immediately feel that sense of force pushing you back, and I can even feel the seatbelt now tightening. It's really quick. 0 to 100 comes in 4.5 seconds. As you can see, it's pouring outside, but yet, being a rear-wheel drive roadster, the car still feels very sharp, very nimble, handles very well. So what surprises me is in the aspects of handling, the both cars are actually very different. The Supra manages to feel Japanese in a sense that it's lighter in terms of the way it pivots and moves around or dances around. Even the steering is a bit lighter. That is something that a lot of Japanese cars have a characteristic that they have, and the Supra also has that. Whereas the BMW is a lot more robust, feels almost even heavier, and even the steering also has a heavier weight to it. So surprisingly, despite both having a lot of similarities in many ways, the handling characteristics are quite different. Wow, that was another nice drive, man.
Yep.
Wow, it was raining lah.
Well, at least you could say you've tried it in the wet and the dry. What I found was, I think the more I drove the Supra today, at first when you sit in, you do recognize the BMW bits and all that. But
Agree.
the more I drive it, the more its own character starts to come out, and the more I was less bothered by the BMW-ness of the car.
I second that. I agree. Yep.
Right? So it actually starts to feel that sort of lightness to the controls, that agility.
Yes.
It does feel that way. I went in last night, I have to admit that I wasn't that in. I was more impressed with the Z4, and that's because probably I was spending more time in the car.
Yep.
Then today I jump into the Supra.
Yep.
Its own sort of charms are starting to come on me, and even from a design point, looking at it,
Yep.
I thought maybe at first the car was a little bit trying too hard with too many fake vents and scoops and all that. But now the more you look at it, and especially in a grey, as a more understated colour, you kind of appreciate it. It starts to look cool.
Understated and cool, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, what do you think about?
So same for me. I think last night I was definitely quite impressed with the Supra. I mean, it's the power, don't say lah, was really good. It sounded really good as well in sport mode, the exhaust.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's 5 horsepower that the BMW has over the Supra. But the Supra is lighter because it doesn't have all that folding roof mechanism and extra strengthening bits to give it that torsional rigidity. I think in the end it comes to about the same, but let's face it, in Singapore, you're not going to be driving it at 200 over kilometers an hour. You know, you're being silly. But driving it within the context of Singapore roads and on the expressways and all that, both cars, you would hardly be complaining about a lack of power either way.
But I would say though, the one thing about the Z4 that sort of jumped out at me is that it really is 2 cars in one.
Really?
Right? So the Supra is a hard sports car, right?
That's it.
Whereas the Z4 is really a full-fledged roadster with the top down, but with the top up also. I think BMW engineers have managed to make it sound. The sound insulation is still
it's really
good.
snug. Like you couldn't tell that it's a
exactly.
soft top, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really 2 cars in one, and that's where I guess the $70,000 go to lah. Yeah, so because you could buy a Supra. And then buy a used MX-5 and still get 2 cars.
Wow.
Right?
I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah. At the same time, the Supra, in my opinion, is a car that you can still pose in, but if you do it up a bit, you know, get really good tires, suspension, you can take it out to the track. You might not do that with the Z4. Somehow doesn't really fit the image.
It's a lot of money, but I can see that the Z4 feels more like a full-featured version of either cars. You know, it had the nice stuff that I like Apple CarPlay wireless, for example, which to me
the Supra didn't have, right?
It was a huge deal, and some of the functions like the connected services and the maps and stuff like that, which the Supra didn't have.
So if you had to choose, right down to it,
I'd still go with the Supra. It still has that ability to grow on you as time goes by. And if you look at the previous Supra, the A80, today it's still iconic. It's still fresh. The design is still cool. It will still turn heads. So I have every reason to believe that this Supra will do the same.
I think I'm a bit biased. I've always been a fan of BMWs.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I'm also a big convertible fan.
All right.
Right. I eventually started to really like the Z4 a lot. In my opinion, the Supra styling might get a bit dated after a year or 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you were to ask me, I would definitely go for the Z4. But of course,
Really?
money, no objection at all.
Yeah.
I'll take both lah.